Welcome back to the JSFL. We are here after week 4 in a very interesting week. We had 2 overtime games, a lot of questionable coaching decisions, and a lot more we will cover here on the podcast right before we head on to Thursday night week 5. But before that, let's go over that recap. And we'll start with the Thursday night game, the defensive battle of New Orleans. Cincinnati, the 0-3 Hounds went into the 3-0 Musicians, and yeah. So start off with really defensive. Skies and Hastings were both struggling. Then 2 defensive touchdowns from New Orleans. Battle. Jog was doing pretty good. That's really the only bright spot of any offense that day. Hastings was running really good. So the Cincinnati had run game going. Neither team could really get a passing going, especially New Orleans. These guys had a really bad game. But yeah, so it ended up in a game-winning field goal with Cincinnati winning it. Or actually, well, they got the field goal. Then Skies had a chance to drive it, threw a pick to Andrew Saunders, and that was the ball game. And it was a really good win for Cincinnati, upsetting the number 1 team in the league. So they get their first win of the season, and New Orleans their first loss. So no undefeated teams left now in the league. So that was your Thursday night one, and now let's go to the 1 o'clocks on Sunday. The first one was the Bats at the Businessmen. Really, Henry Gurnett just couldn't get anything going. Had plenty of chances. The defense was getting the things they needed. Just a classic divisional battle. It was like 24-19, I want to say it was. And Henry Gurnett just couldn't move his offense down there at the time where it mattered. And then Charlotte hung on with the win. So that was not too much happening in that one. It was a good game, though. Gila Monsters at Enforcers, the rematch of the JSFL Championship from last year. 13-13 then. Houston marches down on the game-winning drive, kicks it up the uprights on the game winner. Pretty chip shot field goal, and they won. So both quarterbacks did really good, I think. Throwing, passing, or that's the same thing. Throwing, running. Both quarterbacks were doing really good. The defenses did pretty good for the most part. It was just we knew why these teams were at the championship last year. And then Houston just got the revenge game they needed. And they go to 3-1. And it brings the Gila Monsters down to 2-2. Then your next one, the 4-15s, we had the Fishers at, or no, that's, whoops, wrong one. The Earthquake at the Wind. So the Earthquake at the Wind, this one was the battle between Foster and Harrison. Harrison's establishing himself as one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now in this early season. Definitely looking for Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. Had a really good battle against the Earthquake, but the Earthquake, Foster, marches him downfield. Jacobs with that touchdown in the back of the end zone. And then Harrison, his line collapsed. Lemus, Butler were destroying. And then the pressure got too much to Harrison. They couldn't march downfield. He put up a really good game, but just couldn't do it against a really formidable opponent. Then on the other 4-15 game, the Fishers at the Predators. This game already happened, yes, at the same place, but scheduling with only 12 teams, it happened again. And this one, Carl Carrolls was the starting quarterback for the Fishers. And Tony Jackson will be back next week, yes, as we dive a little into the injury report there. But Carl Carrolls balled out. He had 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, a lot of passing yards. And he ultimately won the game for the Fishers. The most questionable call of this week was why were the Predators passing in field goal range in overtime? It goes into Foyle's hands, bounces out, pick, and then that is the drive that led the Fishers to the field goal in OT to win it. So really stupid call, I think. And it cost the Predators the game. All they needed was to kick it up through the uprights. And they were already in red zone range already. So really stupid call by the Predators. And the Fishers win it. And they go 2-2. And the Predators go fall to 2-2. And then your Monday night game was a really great one. Seattle and Detroit. Richardson and Kermit Poe just balling out. Went into overtime after both teams were just not giving up. And then Kermit Poe, I think it was the first drive, he got 2 third-down conversions. And then on the last play of the game, he ran all the way from his 30, backing up running, and he ran and got into the end zone, and it was a touchdown, game winner in overtime. And the Natives went up to 3-1, and the Detroit Power down to 2-2. It was such a great game. It was a really great week. And looking at the schedule this week, I think it should be another good one because we'll get into that at the end of the podcast. But let's go into some stuff. First of all, let's go into our World's MVP race. At number 10 is Actually, let's go into... I want to talk about two of the outliers. I don't talk about them, but I'll dive into the 10 of them a little more. Maybe just... Actually, nah. Because if you're not in the top 10, I'm not going to talk about you. Sorry. But number 10, Warren Rocker. Very good in his second year. One of the less talked about running backs in the league, and he's doing pretty good right now for Atlanta. Number 9, Ross Williams. He was really good in the early season last year for LA. Let's see if he can pick it up this year. Number 8, Sean Richardson. Had a huge game last week, hoping he can keep it climbing and keep climbing up the ranks. And he's not got an MVP yet. 7, Allen Clemens. People talk about Roland Levis, but Allen Clemens has been balling out this year for the Enforcers. Big reason why they're doing so good right now. And Allen Clemens is doing a lot to help that defense. Why is number 7 in the race? 6 is Brian Tepps. Really solid game against Houston. Can't get the win though, but he's putting together a pretty good season. The 2-time JSFL Championship MVP. Number 5, Warren Jones. Won Offensive Player of the Week last week. Had a really solid week this week. And he fell a little bit this week, but he's hoping to keep climbing and stay in the race. Number 4, Chad Harrison. Well, we're thinking of Rookie of the Year. He's putting himself in an MVP race. He's number 4 right now in the World's MVP race. 7 touchdowns to 1 pick. A lot of yards on a team that lost Tracy Davis and who was their other one? Joseph Carousel's on the team now. It was Tracy Davis and who was the other one? I'm blanking. Thomas Wagner. And now it just says Eric Fitzgerald with the rookie Patrick King and I think isn't Joseph Carousel injured? I gotta look at that. Joseph Carousel is he's out till week 7. So Joseph Carousel injured. He's putting together a really solid campaign right now. Number 3, Willie Rogers, running back, even doing better. So Willie Rogers, very good. Those two making a formidable offense. Number 2, Kermit Poe with that great game against Detroit. The MVP is looking to get 2 straight. And number 1, obviously Roland Levis. He's going literally insane. Let's look at the stats real quick for this guy. It's insane. Like, unless he has a major fall off, he should win MVP easily. Let's see. Got to go to Roland Levis. 32 solo tackles, 8 assists, 5 tackles for loss, 17.5 sacks in 4 weeks. That's like 4 sacks a week, a little more, 4.5 maybe even. A fumble and a safety. Roland Levis is going crazy right now for the LA Earthquake. So yeah, it's our MVP race. Power rankings, 12th, the New York Businessmen. I don't think Garnett's the guy. They're giving him chance after chance, just not really putting it together. Gave him Thomas Wagner as a weapon. And the defense is doing all right. I mean, it's just haven't been able to get it done. So I don't know. They're number 12 right now. Haven't got a win yet. The only winless team. Just really tough right now for the Businessmen. 11th, the Charlotte Bats going down to the wire with the Businessmen able to pull out through, but tough game for them. Struggles a little around the roster, but they're all right. Number 10, Atlanta. Really stupid decision in that last game. Just shaky as you see all these teams at the bottom, like usual, honestly. Number 9, the Minneapolis Fishers. Just not that the Minneapolis Fishers are bad. Just all these teams are really good right now. It's really solid. They've just been a little inconsistent. I think their only 2 wins are both off the Predators. So you need to see a little more from Minneapolis. Number 8, the Cincinnati Hounds. Great upset against New Orleans. But before that, they're looking really shaky, so I might see some consistency. And I need Kendall Hastings to pick up the pass game for them to have any chance. Number 7, Kansas City. The offense has been clicking. The defense needs to get on track and help out this offense a bit. And they'll be going good. 6, the Phoenix Yellow Monsters. Tough game against Houston, but the teams above them are just better at the moment than I see. Number 5, Detroit. Had to put them down here just for the loss, but honestly, I could see Detroit being up to number 3 or 2 even. Number 4, New Orleans. They dropped from 1 to 4. I don't want to be too harsh because the climate was bad. It's just some teams have bad nights, but New Orleans is going to fall for this one. Number 3, Houston. Great win against Phoenix, a formidable opponent. Just want to see a few more. And the teams above them, all these guys are 1A, 1B, 1 even C. So, yeah. 2, LA Earthquake. Rush defense. The defense is just great right now. Roland Lemus, Howard Butler had a good game. And then the pass defense has been great. Foster's been good. Williams has been good. It's very good for LA. And number 1, Seattle. Even with all those injuries to the defense, they're still putting up the numbers. The offense is electric. The defense has been stepping up to the plate. And yeah, I just see Seattle's number 1 right now. So that's it for that. The playoff picture: East, the Atlanta Predators in the lead. South, the Houston Enforcers. West, the Seattle Natives. And North is the Detroit Power. The 5th seed would be LA Earthquake, and 6th seed would be New Orleans Physicians. In the hunt, the first one is Phoenix, the Gill Monsters, and 2 is Kansas City Wind. Now let's go into Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week. Offensive Player of the Week is Kermit Poe, 29 for 38, 343 yards, a touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Also had 8 carries, 62 yards, a touchdown, and a broken tackle. So good game and good week for Kermit Poe. And your Defensive Player of the Week is obviously Roland Lemus, 7 tackles, 2 assists, or 7 solo tackles, 2 assists, 4.5 sacks, and a safety. And he had a really good week. Not as good as this week last week, but it was pretty good this week too. And yeah, so that's it for that. Where I want to go? Do I want to go offense, defense, or injury report? Let's do the injury report. Why not? So yeah, let's go into the injury report. And we'll start with the businessman. We only have one person on the injury report right now. It's Ken Jones. He'll be back week 11. They got Thomas Wagner off, I remember. For the Charlotte Bats, they have Carl Cox. He'll be back week 6. Cody Corder will be back week 6. And Jerome Owl will be back week 8. So I stick with Phillips, even if they don't like what they see, unless they're going Josh Jamerson. Atlanta Predators. Peyton Weddis will be back week 8. Brent Ruiz will be back week 6. Perry Webb will be back on the wild card if they make it that far. And Eric Shady will be back week 9. So quite a few injuries to Atlanta. No injuries on New Orleans. No injuries in Houston. And no injuries in Phoenix. And for the Wind, they got Owen Dickerson's out for the season. Wesley Francis back week 7. Joseph Carousel back week 7. And Andrew Webb back week 9. So quite a few injuries on Kansas City's part. For LA, Frederick Campbell will be back on week 7. And Ahmed Littlefield will be back week 6. So one more week without their starting free safety. Seattle, Stephen Hernandez will be back week 8. That will be a huge when they get him back. So a couple more weeks left to fight without him. Peyton Quartz, their star Pro Bowl tackle, will be back week 7. And Ronaldo Smith out for this season. So tough blow, but they'll be very thankful when Hernandez is back. But it's tough for Ronaldo Smith because let's see how he ended his season, because he wasn't playing last week. So I think he only had 3 games this season he could have played. So Ronaldo Smith in the 3 games. He'll end out his season with 20 tackles solo, 17 assists, 2 tackles for loss, and a fumble. Yeah, he was good, but didn't get to do anything. Stephen Hernandez didn't even get to play yet, so it's tough for him. But yeah, sucks for Seattle. Lost 2 huge players, and then Quartz is pretty good, too. He made the Pro Bowl his rookie season. It's a late round pick, so yeah, good. Minneapolis, Gerald Aguilar will be back week 7. That's their only injury. Detroit, Sammy Hansen and Monty Erickson will both be back week 6 or next week. And then Cincinnati, Darian Piper will be back on week 7. And that is it there. Yeah, I think the only thing we got for the next week, or if we're going over the next week's schedule, is the offensive and defensive stats. So let's go with that. We'll start with offense. The worst offense in the league right now is 12th New York Businessmen, 11th, New Orleans Musicians. 10th, the Charlotte Bats. 9th, the Phoenix Gila Monsters. 8th, the Minneapolis Fishers. 7th, the Cincinnati Hounds. 6th, the Atlanta Predators. 5th, the Kansas City Wind. 4th, the LA Earthquake. 3rd, the Detroit Power. 2nd, the Seattle Natives. And 1st, the Houston Enforcers. So there you go for that. Rushing offense, 12th, the Bats. 11th, the Wind. 10th, Businessmen. 9th, Musicians. 8th, Earthquake. 7th, Fishers. 6th, Natives. 5th, Predators. 4th, Gila Monsters. 3rd, Hounds. 2nd, Enforcers. And 1st, Power. And the passing offense, 12th, Businessmen. 11th, Gila Monsters. Hold on. 10th, Power. 9th, Hounds. 8th, Musicians. 7th, Predators. 6th, Bats. 5th, Fishers. 4th, Enforcers. 3rd, Natives. 2nd, Earthquake. And 1st, Wind. Need a drink real quick. Then let's go to the defense. 12th, Kansas City. Since I told you, you need to step up that defense for Kansas City to be competitive. That's why they're 1-3. 11th, Businessmen. 10th, Natives. 9th, Bats. 8th, Fishers. 7th, Hounds. 6th, Power. 5th, Predators. 4th, Musicians. 3rd, Earthquake. 2nd, Enforcers. And the 1st, Gila Monsters. The rush defense, 12th, Hounds. 11th, Bats. 10th, Businessmen. 9th, Fishers. 8th, Gila Monsters. 7th, Natives. 6th, Musicians. 5th, Power. 4th, Earthquake. 3rd, Predators. 2nd, Wind. And 1st, Enforcers. So the Wind, really good in their run defense, just horrendous in their pass. Speaking about pass defense, 12th, Wind. 11th, Predators. 10th, Natives. 9th, Power. 8th, Enforcers. 7th, Earthquake. 6th, Fishers. 5th, Musicians. 4th, Businessmen. 3rd, Bats. 2nd, Hounds. And 1st, Gila Monsters. So they've been solid in the no-flight zone. And that brings us into our final segment because I have no special segments for this week. Sorry about that, but here we go. The schedule. So week 5, Gila Monsters at Earthquake. This is going to be a great divisional battle. We're in LA for this one. And honestly, with how dominant the pass rush and all the defense just in general has been for LA, and I know their offense can strike, even though Gila must have the best defense right now, go in LA, because I see Brian Tep scrambling out, just getting sacked and pounded in. They can contain him a bit. They have good linebackers to hem him in. I'm going with LA for this one, so we'll see how that goes. Starting up the 1 o'clocks on Sunday. Musicians at Power should be a good game. Give me the Power, though. Musicians heading in off a loss and give them 2 in a row. Can Sean Richardson will be looking for blood after losing to current opponent, the Natives. So we're going to go with the Power. Then the next one, the Wind at Enforcers. I'm going to go with the Enforcers. I think they'll shut down the offense enough and just be able to just plow the defense away. So give me the Enforcers. I think Harrison can make it a close one. The offense can score. But I'm still going to Enforcers here. Then give me the Fishers at Hounds for the 4-15s. Should be a good divisional matchup. I'm going to go with the Hounds. Beating such guys like that. I know it's bad weather and all, but I think they can do it. And especially because the Fishers have been rough. They've only beat the same team twice. I think the Hounds have what it takes, and I think they can finally start picking up some momentum as they beat Minneapolis, is what I think. Then you got the Natives at the Bats. I'm going to take the Natives here. I think they'll just destroy the Bats. Even though they had some pretty key injuries, I think it won't be enough. Maybe making it a 7 to 10 point game, but I think it's going to be the Natives. Then your final one, the Monday night primetime matchup. You got the Predators heading to, I think that's the Businessmen. Oh, wait, wrong week. Businessmen at Predators. There you go. I was reading the wrong week. But, yeah, the Businessmen at the Predators at Businessmen at Predators. There you go. I think it's going to be the Predators. They showed they have some talent, and I don't know. I just don't believe the Bismen don't look that convincing right now. Until they beat someone, I don't think they can beat someone. Honestly, so I'm just gonna need to see something more from the Bismen. I got the Predators in this one. But that's it from this week of GSFL. I'll see you guys Thursday for some LA versus Phoenix action in LA. So Phoenix at LA, and I'll see you guys on the Thursday night matchup.